Good morning, large white farm doggies. Good morning. Good morning. You have a good night? Did you keep all the wolves away? Yeah. Did you tell them, Poppy? Hello, welcome to the Hollaby Homestead. It is a windy, brisk day here. The sun's out, which is nice, but it's cold. I wanted to make a video since it was kind of sunny, but maybe the wind's going to destroy my audio on this. But a lot of people have been asking me how we keep our livestock guardian dogs in fences, because if you know anything about livestock guardian dogs, they like to get out of fences. It's not because they are poorly trained, it's because in some situations, not here obviously, but let's say across the road there was cows, okay? And they see coyotes across the road, and those cows aren't our cows, but they still want to go and protect them, right? So that's kind of like a scenario of how a livestock dog would want to get out of the fence, and a lot of them are just climbers anyway, and they just want to explore and do their own thing. They're very like independent-minded dogs. I will say that despite our tall fencing, I know for a fact that these dogs, if they wanted to, could jump over it. And I feel cursed even saying that because they haven't done it, and I don't think they will, but they could. But I want to talk about kind of the other things that we do to keep them in. And this advice is not for people with pet dogs, and maybe this advice is not really what you want to hear, but it works for us, and it works for our dogs, and it works for our livestock. So I am going to take you up closer to the fence and kind of walk you through how we keep the dogs inside the pen. First of all, this is mainly for our chickens, but we have chicken wire on the gates here because when our dogs were younger and smaller, they could definitely fit through the gaps in the gate. So that's something that we use as a deterrent. Also, all the corners are braced in what's called like an H post, an H corner. And the reason that the corners are braced is so that the fence is tight, and so that if they were to jump up on the fence, they're not able to kind of lean the fence over, push the fence over type thing, because some of them will do that. You know, that's kind of step one, is that you want your fencing to be tight and you want it to be strong. And the parts that they're going to get out is going to be the gates if they're not done properly, and it's going to be long stretches where there isn't that many posts, so you have to think about that. I'm going to take you in the pen and kind of show you some more detail of how we prevent the dogs from getting out of the gates. So I'm going to show you this gate over here because it's a really good example of you know, kind of our prevention techniques on keeping the dogs away from messing with the gate. It doesn't really keep the chickens away. They don't really feel the shock, but in case you didn't know, our fence is electrified, and I'm going to kind of break down the details of that. So first of all, we have two lines, which you can't see because I've warmed it off camera. And we have two lines here, but also we have coils, and we put a post here to bump the coils out. Now I'm going to take the camera and show you up close what I mean by coils, but the reason that we bump it out is because the coils can move, and they do move in the wind. So I'm going to show you up close what I mean by that. Hi, Poppy. I'm showing the YouTubers about our gates. You want to help out? Oh, you just want attention. So I call these gate coils. I don't know what they're officially called. I also call them the Canadian cattle guard because a lot of cattlemen use them. So it's a coil. And this is live, so I'm not going to touch it. And it's live because of this rope to here. Now we use this horse rope. It's got copper braids wrapped in it. And we find it a lot more easier to work with than like straight up wire. But we do use wire for like connectivity points. So this coil is attached here, and it's live because it's touching that wire. And I'm just gonna hopefully not get shocked here, but I'm just gonna kick it quickly to show you how much movement it has. See? That's why you want it away from the gate, so that if it's windy or something blows up against it, it's not gonna be touching the gate, because otherwise this whole gate is gonna be electrified and that's not gonna be nice. So, the reason that these coils are great is because at a gate, you're going to be coming in and out of it with a tractor, yourself, whatever. And, you're probably wondering, how do you get through that? Well, this is still live, but if you touch this handle, it is not live, okay? It's not live on the handle. So we're just going to walk the coil back, set it on the ground. And then we do the same with the other one. And now everything else is still live. And you can get in and out of the gate, no problem. So to connect it back up, I just picked it up again. It's still live. So what this does is it stops you from having to disconnect your fence. Meaning turn the power off, which for us is a pain in the ass because it's all the way around the corner of the house. So we have 2 coils here because we find this gate is a little too tempting for that girly. So we have 2 coils, and the dogs will not go in between here. Especially with these coils jiggling and moving in the wind, it freaks them out too much. They will never go there, but if they do, there's wire to stop them from going through. I need to redo this wire. It's a little janky, and we just have this gate chained up for now. So around here we have 2 lines. So we have the lower line to stop them from digging out. They will not go near that. Every livestock dog is a little bit different in their needs. So Bailey, our first livestock dog, he's a digger. He will dig under anything and everything. There's tons of holes everywhere because that's what he likes to do. So the bottom line is for him, mainly. Poppy will not go under there. Now, if you have a dog that likes to climb fences and gates, and Poppy used to do that when she was younger, but she doesn't now. So we don't have it set up because it's not a problem for us anymore. But if you have a dog that likes to climb, then you want a hot line, an electrical line up here, so that if they put their paws up here and they start seeing if they can climb over, that line is going to freak them out. For us, it works having just the 2 lines, and I will explain why that works for us, and it may not work for you. I'll start off by talking about Poppy. So when we first got Poppy, she came from another farm, and we don't know what happened, but she came terrified of electric line, and she won't go near it. And in fact, if we're working on the electric line, and it's cruel to show you, but I will show you with a piece of string. Okay, so let's say this is the wire. It's not, it's baling twine. That's around the fence. Let's say we have it in our hands. She knows this is not electric wire, so it's not traumatizing to her. But if this was electric wire, she'd be gone. She'd be climbing out of the fences. Like, she hates it. She's terrified of it. She doesn't want to go near it. So anytime we're working with kind of fixing the electrical line around here, we have to be careful because it's a real trigger for her. We didn't have to actually train her on the electric line. She totally figured it out herself. And she came to us that way. So her we don't have to worry about. Bailey, on the other hand, he took a little extra training. And when we first got him, we didn't have the fence, and we used the sport dog collars with a beep. And the beep worked really well. We never shocked him with it. It was just a beeping noise and made this like beep. He just looked at me when I did that. And that would stop him in his tracks from running away or anything. And that collar worked perfectly for him. When we got Poppy, we tried it on Poppy and it traumatized her. It was just way too much of a scary experience. She couldn't handle it. So we didn't try very long because it wasn't a helpful thing. So those sport collars will work for some dogs, but not other dogs. It worked really well for Bailey, not well for Pop. Because Bailey learned on the collar first, the electric fence was a bit of a learning curve. So his kind of attitude towards the electric line was to try and bite it. And that poor dog got some good rips right in the jaw, biting down on the line. And, a smart dog should figure it out once. A mostly smart dog should figure it out twice. If they gotta do it a third time, then I don't know. But he figured it out. So he stopped biting the line, which is good. And I felt really bad. I'm not into, watching my poor dogs get zapped. And, I don't like it. But they have to learn. So the other thing that Bailey does is, I catch him sometimes. He'll go up to the electric line and he'll put his paw on it. First of all, he's testing to see if it's still on. Because unlike Poppy, who we could have this whole fence off and she still wouldn't go near it, Bailey is always seeing if the line is still live, and he's always checking it. Also, I've caught him holding his paw on that line for as long as he possibly can, as if he's conditioning himself to get used to the shock. Now, he is never able to get used to the shock because it's quite a rip. So, but he tries. He definitely tries. And then you'll have some livestock dogs that don't even care and don't even want to mess with the fence. You don't even need electric line. But a lot of these dogs, especially when they're younger, they need the line to be trained. And then also too, if you're running sheep or cattle or something else that they're supposed to be protecting, you want to keep them enclosed too. So you want the dog to be introduced to the electric line as well as the livestock. One thing we did do in the beginning is we set up an electric line like in the middle of the yard, just like a fence section, and left it there live. And the dogs went up to it and smelled it and touched it, and so they learned about the electric line without it actually being on the fences. At our man gate, we do have another coil, and I'm not going to pull it off. It's the same thing as the other one, but we just have one because, again, the gates are tempting for them to dig under. And we just step over this one because it's quite low. Now, I have seen people, if they have dogs that are jumpers or climbers, then you could put a coil up here above the gate. And that would definitely stop them from wanting to climb it. As time goes on, though, we do find that the dogs are less interested in messing with the gates and messing with the lines, because as time has gone on, they've figured out their job and that they want to be in here. And anytime that they do come in the house, when we let them out, they want to be right back in here because this is their job. So it's not something you have to do forever, although we will do it this way forever, just because these dogs are so smart that there will be one time that they will figure out that it's not live or that the coil is not there anymore. So I'm gonna I'm gonna kind of post, I guess the only way I can do this is like screenshots of where you can get these coils, the electric rope that we use. I will say about the electric rope, why it's so much better than wire is that wire has to be tensioned, and that is really hard to do, and it breaks easily and it breaks a lot. The rope, you can literally just tie it and then tie another piece of rope to it, and then that's live. You don't have to like worry about like the conductiveness of it, because it's pretty hot. We do find it is hotter than wire. And these coils are extremely hot. You know, like if you were to not see those and walk into those and not be wearing rubber boots, you probably would piddle yourself. And the dogs know this too. I'm going to screenshot off of Amazon because that's the only thing I can think of as a reference point that everybody has of the products we use. There are similar things, so if you find rope that's not made by Gallagher, or you know, fence coils not made by Gallagher, that's okay. We just use Gallagher because it's the most easy available fencing material that we can find around here, but there's other comparable brands, and that's okay too. In regards to a charger, we don't have a really strong charger, and that's something we need to upgrade. But it works for this setup right now, but if we're to add more pens, we definitely need a bigger one. We did try a solar charger fencer, and you know, because like we're fans of Justin Rhodes, we like you know, the idea of the solar, but the technology is just not there, and you have a few days of like really cloudy days and it's not going to be that powerful, or the battery's going to mess up, and in the wintertime, I mean, good luck. I think it works for people like Justin Rhodes because of where they live, but here in the Great White North, it's not really practical for the application here. The other thing that we learned is that our chicken netting, our portable chicken netting that we used to use a couple of years ago, our fencer is not strong enough to charge it properly. So we still have the netting and we might use it in the future, but we need to have a bigger charger. So that's one thing to keep in mind, is that we found that the solar chargers were just not strong enough for that netting, first of all, like in a realistic, usable sense. And secondly, the netting, because there's so many little squares, it's a lot of power to go through, and if there's like one area that's damaged or not quite connecting properly, the whole thing's a dud. And we found them very finicky and annoying. So if you're wondering why we don't use those anymore, that's why. This electric rope that we use is really cool because it's really easy to untie, take down, move around, and we find it more of a usable product than the electric netting, because you're guaranteed that you're going to keep a strong connection going through it, but it's easy to untie and move, and it's not a big deal. Before I finish this video, I'm just going to show you quickly what we do at the other gate that we have, because we don't have a set of coils for it yet. So I'm just going to show you a quick temporary setup that you can do at a gate that maybe you're not using that much. This is a gate that we do not use that much, but we still want to leave it as an option. Hi, Poppy. Hi, Poppy. Nice to see you, Poppy. So what we have is one line, and we have these plastic step-in posts. So we have one line, it's connected over there, it goes over here, and it's tied to a handle. So I'm not going to do it because it gets the dogs riled up. You just have to pull that handle just like the coils, and you can pull the rope off. You just unhook it from these step-ins, and it's open. And the nice thing is that the dogs respect that. They won't go near it, they won't jump over it. They're pretty freaked out by it. So in a temporary solution, if you're using it, if you need to kind of block a gate that's not a main gate, but you don't want to like set up a huge amount of fencing in front of it, that works for us. The dogs are trained off of the way the other lines are, that they won't even bother messing with this one line. So I just wanted to show you that because there are kind of ways around it, but we use the coils because they're a lot quicker and a lot faster to get in and out of gates if you're bringing a tractor through or a truck or, you know, whatever. So, and also if we're bringing the dogs in the house, we pull the coils off so that they can walk through the gate. So anyways, if you have any fencing questions, feel free to ask. Dave knows a lot about fencing, so I don't know the answer. He can answer it for you. As I've said, our setup is not for everybody. I've kind of given examples of how it could work for some people. Maybe it wouldn't work for others, so don't come at me. This works for us. This has taken a few years for us to figure out. And I've been meaning to do this video, but I wanted to wait till our kind of fencing was complete, so I wasn't showing you some, you know, haggard thrown together fencing job that didn't look professional. So anyways, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye. I just want everybody to know that a year ago, yesterday, was our gotcha day for Poppy. So she came home a year ago yesterday. If you watched our other video about livestock guardian dogs, I kind of explain her story and you know, how long it took to get to this point. And you know, she's come a long way. I'm glad she's here. And she's a really good working dog. And it's just, you know, it's taken a long time, but I'll be honest with you, a year is not that long to get a dog sorted out. And I trust her with everything. I don't have to worry about anything. She's a sweet girl. And I think she likes her job here. Right, Poppy? You like your job? Yeah?